broadcasting live to the world, the Kart Racing Network. Oliver Askew on pole position and Nick Neary on the front row. Both of them just got the hand down to the right, as in fact as just about everybody on the grid. Okay, here we go. Nick Neary on the outer, Oliver Askew on pole. Nice clean start, and Oliver Askew takes an easy lead because Nick Neary's dwelt a little bit from the outside of row 2. Sam Beasley gone through in 2nd place, Dan Roper in 3rd. Nick Neary, I think they're in 4th, maybe 5th place. A little bit slowly away, Nick Neary from the outside of the front row. AJ Myers having to move away at a sharp early stage. Andrew Palmer a little bit perhaps balked from the start he would have liked, but Oliver Askew has got the start he wanted. Sam Beasley's happy with that as well. Dan Roper's not complaining either. They are the 1, 2, 3. On this opening lap, just looking away from the screen, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers have not negotiated the first 4 turns. And there you see some of the mayhem that I was talking about. None of those towards the front, but sorry to lose them so early. As Oliver Askew leads the field through, Sam Beasley and Dan Roper, the guys immediately behind him. Andrew Palmer 4th, Nick Neary 5th, AJ Myers 6th, Jonathan Kotick 7th, Ivan Meehan 8th, Roger Ralston Jr. 9th, and Derek Dignan 10th. Just outside the top 10, the lady, Morgan Healy. Well, so far so good for Oliver Askew. Sam Beasley is handily placed and is making sure that Oliver Askew's not going to get away. These two just about a kart length clear of your 3rd place, Dan Roper. Dan Roper getting himself into that little bit of no man's land where you see empty tarmac in front of you and there's nobody immediately behind you. Oliver Askew pulling away a fraction from Sam Beasley. The margin 0.184 of a second at the end of lap 2. The evidence of our eyes, though, is that Oliver Askew has about a length and a half of a kart to the good on 2nd place driver Sam Beasley. In 3rd place, Dan Roper. 4th place, Andrew Palmer. Nick Neary still in 5th place, and those top 5 you see. And there goes a move from 4th into 3rd, and so does Nick Neary go through as well. In fact, Neary goes from 5th to 3rd. Neary from 5th to 3rd, and Andrew Palmer, who went from 4th to 3rd, remains 4th, and Dan Roper, the loser out of that one. So a nice move by Andrew Palmer, opened the way for Nick Neary, but Nick Neary also went past him. So, Oliver Askew 1, Sam Beasley 2, Nicholas Neary 3, Andrew Palmer 4, AJ Myers 5, and Dan Roper, who I momentarily referred to as the loser, drops down there into 6th place. An unfortunate situation for Dan, didn't do a lot wrong. Morgan Healy, wow, she's driven herself up into 7th place. The lady in kart 316 has driven not just into the top 10, she's driven up to 7th place. Roger Ralston Jr., also a loser on that series of passes. He's dropped down to 9th. We're on lap 4, and you're watching your race leader, Oliver Askew, in front of Sam Beasley, and these two having pulled away a little bit as they start lap 5, excuse me. Nick Neary in 3rd place has got some clear tarmac to make up. Who were the quick drivers there? Well, Oliver Askew's done a 48.02, Sam Beasley a 48.03, but Nick Neary's done a 47.9. So the quick driver in the top 3 is Nick Neary. Anne Hayden in 14th place. Morgan Healy in 7th place, so the 2 girls in the top 14 out of 37 starters, the girls going well. Oliver Askew is your race leader. Sam Beasley dropping a little bit. Oh yes, that's a good clear 2 kart lengths, wasn't it? The margin, which had been, let's see, 0.12 was it, is now 0.30. Oliver Askew, 0.3 of a second to the good on Sam Beasley. Nick Neary 3rd. Well, Oliver Askew, if this is the strategy, kick for home by grinding down the opposition, it's a strategy that thus far is working. We're moving into the second quarter because this is lap 6 of a 20-lap race. Sam Beasley still second, Nick Neary still third, Andrew Palmer fourth in the very light race suit, as is Sam Beasley in second place. Easy to identify those two. Sweeping down to the start of lap 7. Oliver Askew looking a little bit busy in the seat. The margin still the same, 0.300. So the evidence of the transponder is that Oliver Askew and Sam Beasley maintained their position vis-a-vis each other on lap 6. Nick Neary in third place, getting a little bit closer though. He's 0.37 of a second behind Sam Beasley. The evidence of our eyes is that he's getting closer, isn't it? And those three pulling away a little bit now from fourth place Andrew Palmer. Andrew Palmer, in fact, under pressure from AJ Myers. AJ Myers in fifth place, looking enviously at the fourth place of Andrew Palmer. Oliver Askew's lead goes up to 0.4 of a second. And as I mentioned moments ago, if the strategy of Oliver Askew is don't play a waiting game, don't let's wait and see how things pan out, you'll start the lead in pole position, likely to lead at the opening couple of turns and just move on from there. Well, if that's the strategy, it's working. Nick Neary closing in on Sam Beasley in third place. You're seeing Sam Beasley there in the middle of those three. Ollie Askew in front of him, Nick Neary behind him. Then the gap to Andrew Palmer. Andrew Palmer, no kind of gap to AJ Myers in fifth place. Dan Roper still running sixth. Morgan Healy, she's still running seventh. Derek Dignan eighth. Roger Ralston Jr. ninth. Jake Craig 10. Always want to keep you updated in the top 10 or so, but don't like taking my eyes off the screen. Oliver Askew leads. He's the guy to the left of your screen. Sam Beasley in second place is 3 kart lengths behind him. Nick Neary in third place is a lot closer to Sam Beasley than Sam Beasley is to race leader Oliver Askew. We're on lap 9, so we've still got half of the race remaining. Plenty can happen. This is the battle for second. Sam Beasley second. The battle for second and third. Sam Beasley second. Nick Neary in third place. Getting a little bit closer to Oliver Askew, actually. There, the margin was 0.44 previously, but it looks a little bit less. Or maybe our pictures on the Kart Racing Network have foreshortened that. Only 0.18 of a second between Sam Beasley and Nick Neary as we head round to the half race distance. Sam Beasley running 10 tenths, clipping the curb there, looking to go the short way round, keeping the wheels in alignment as long as he can. Nick Neary, I just sense, is happy that he doesn't need to dive past Sam Beasley at the moment, only just approaching the halfway, but he'll keep an eye on Oliver Askew in front, because if Nick Neary doesn't get past Sam Beasley soon and Oliver Askew is kicked out of sight, it may be difficult for both of them. That very, very, very short dip of the head by Oliver Askew. You're watching Sam Beasley in second place in the light race suit, being pursued by Oliver Askew. To the right of your screen is the race leader. Sorry, it's being pursued by Nick Neary. To the right of your screen was Oliver Askew. That is Sam Beasley. This is Nick Neary. Well, there's a really good scrap for fourth place, because Andrew Palmer holding off AJ Myers. They're the two you see now. Andrew Palmer has held off the challenge of AJ Myers, but AJ looking for a way through, and does he battle through? Not quite. Well, it was a move well worth trying. It hasn't worked for AJ Myers, but it serves notice on Andrew Palmer that he's there. This is the start of lap 12. And the failed move means that Andrew Palmer has the pressure taken off. Andrew Palmer has the pressure taken off, but AJ Myers now under serious inspection by Dan Roper in sixth place. Dan Roper in sixth place is only just in front of Morgan Healy in seventh place. The last of those 4 drivers is the lady, Morgan Healy. So we've seen Ashley Rogero taking it to the lads. We see Morgan Healy in kart 316 taking it to the guys. Oliver Askew, Sam Beasley, Nick Neary remain the way. This is the battle for fourth place with Andrew Palmer in front of AJ Myers. Behind AJ Myers, we have Dan Roper sixth, not in shot at the moment. There he is coming into shot, and just behind him, the lady Morgan Healy. Well, Sam Beasley has held off that challenge. Excuse me, Andrew Palmer has held off that challenge by AJ Myers. The lady going right across the bottom of your screen now. The bottom of your screen you briefly saw Morgan Healy. Of this four, that lady at the back is Morgan Healy, mixing it with the lads. This, of course, is your race leader, Oliver Askew. Sam Beasley still second, has seen off that close challenge by Nick Neary. Nick Neary still in a pole position place. He may feel that his ticket to the World Final is and was the prime objective of the season, although a champion never wants to lose his championship. This is the battle, 1, 2, 3. Here is 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Let me call you again those 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. It's Andrew Palmer in the light-coloured race suit 4th. AJ Myers also in the light-coloured race suit 5th. Dan Roper in the darker race suit 6th. Morgan Healy in the Tony Kart race suit in 7th place. Those are the four that you see now going through shot. And Andrew Palmer has seen off the challenge by AJ Myers for the time being, because this is lap 15, at the end of which we shall have reached the third quarter. Oliver Askew's lead, by the way, is 1.1 second over Sam Beasley. Sam Beasley's margin over Nick Neary is 0.4 of a second. So these are 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Ken Johnson, our photographer, wandering away as if it's just a stroll in the park. Ken, it's not a stroll in the park, it's a fabulous senior final. Here is the race leader, Oliver Askew, looks over his left shoulder. There's no immediate challenge because he's got 1.27 seconds on Sam Beasley in second place, Nick Neary in third. Andrew Palmer still 4th, AJ Myers still 5th, Derek Roper still 6th, Morgan Healy 7th. In 8th place still Derek Dignan, Roger Ralston Jr. still 9th, and Will Owen, whose name I haven't called, has driven into the top 10 at number 10. Just outside the top 10, it's Jake Craig in 11th place. Anne Hayden running 13th, making it 2 girls in the top 13 now. So, we're into the fourth quarter. This is lap 17 just starting. The previous lap took us into the fourth quarter. What I think I'm trying to say is we're deep into the race. Any changes of place now? We're looking at the battle for second. Sam Beasley has 0.2 of a second on Nick Neary. Nick Neary looking to be a little bit closer than 0.2. That is Nick Neary to the right of your screen. That's Sam Beasley to the left. At the bottom of your screen, just having gone by, was Oliver Askew. There is Oliver Askew at the bottom of your screen now. Sam Beasley second. Well, Nick Neary does look as if he's winding up the wick, doesn't he? Sam Beasley and Nick Neary, both of them Team USA drivers. Oliver Askew's Team USA ticket seems assured. Sweeping round to start lap 18. Nick Neary just dipping his head, but close to Sam Beasley, but not looking as if he's in a position to make a dramatic move. Of course, the dramatic move that you might make from second attempting to get to first is different to what you might make from third trying to go second, especially if your objective is the Rotax World Challenge Grand Finals ticket and Nick Neary feels that it's in the bag. Oliver Askew looking relatively safe. I only say relatively. If I was less inclined or less disinclined to tempt Providence, I would say looking very safe for the championship, but I don't want to be the one to call it, and it goes belly up, pear-shaped. This is the start of lap 19, 2 to go. Sam Beasley in second place, Nick Neary in third. Sweeping round onto the back straight for the 19th time of 20. Oliver Askew is gone, there he is. But this battle for second and third is not bottomed out yet. Sam Beasley still holding the runner-up position. Nick Neary, the champion in senior, which followed a championship in junior, which followed a championship in Minimax. A podium assured if they just drive home from here. But is Nick Neary going to attempt a move on Sam Beasley? Is Nick Neary able to attempt a move on Sam Beasley, or has Sam Beasley broken the challenge? This is Oliver Askew. Let's run with Oliver on this, his 20th lap of the 20-lap junior final, sponsored by SLV Motorsports in the 2013 US Rotax Grand Nationals. Oliver Askew in kart number 338. He's from Ocala, Florida. One more minute would see him the champion if he stays here. Less than a minute, half a minute from here would see him the champion. Sam Beasley looks to have snuffed out the challenge from Nick Neary. Oliver Askew having an almost contemptuous look over his left shoulder there to see where the other two guys are. It's all looking good for Oliver Askew from here. Turn right, downhill. Oliver Askew wins the USA Rotax Grand National Senior title. The senior title, the American champion in Rotax in 2013 is Oliver Askew. Sam Beasley comes home in second place. Nick Neary third. Andrew Palmer fourth. AJ Myers fifth. Dan Roper sixth. Morgan Healy seventh. Derek Dignan eighth. Roger Ralston Jr. ninth. And Will Owen completes the top 10. Well, Oliver Askew was having no messing there, was he? I did say early in the race, in commentary and race announcing, is the strategy by Oliver Askew not to play a waiting game, just to build on the likely lead he would take from pole position and just grind out a greater advantage until after 20 laps he would come home the victor. That's happened. His margin over Sam Beasley was 1.479 seconds. Good drive by Sam Beasley into the runner-up slot. Nick Neary didn't do an awful lot wrong in third.